All right, so if you haven't already, you can find a comfortable seat. The requests for tonight's class were like heart openers. I'm going to add shoulder stability, but just overall body mechanics. All right. So once you're settled, maybe the eyes close or maybe you gaze softly at the floor. We'll start with a centering. We'll move into our breathing practice, and then we'll move from there. So start to find balance. If you still need to shift or move or rearrange, take a moment to do that. And just start to feel your body's placement on your yoga mat, on whatever you're sitting on, in the room that you're in. And just take a moment to notice what it's like to be here now, in this space, in this moment. And once you've mapped out the qualities that are this present moment, start to turn your attention towards yourself and notice really what it's like for you to be here in this moment. Right? Maybe start with the base of the body, just find out how it feels. Noticing your back and your postural alignment. Feel your arms relaxed and really noticing their positioning from your fingers all the way up to your shoulders. Notice your neck and just see if there's any tension in your jaw, in your mouth, in your face, anything that you can just gently invite to relax and release. And then start to zoom out. Notice your whole body, just sitting and breathing. And direct your attention to your breath. No need to change it just yet. Maybe you already have, and that's fine. But really just let your mind ride the wave of every breath in and out. And once that feels comfortable for those two things to live in the same space, right? Your mind and your breath, they're just going to be friends. They're going to go for a walk. Let the breath start to slow down. I always think of that analogy of two friends going for a walk, and one's going to be the excellent listener. So your mind is going to be the listener. They're just going to listen, right? Your breath has a lot to tell you. And you want to be that good version of a friend who shows up, who listens, and is simply receptive to what is true. So take your time, really practice getting the lungs empty and noticing what that feels like. And then practice allowing the lungs to become full and noticing what that feels like. And just noticing your body in space. Every once in a while, your awareness will get pulled to the room or something else, a thought. Just bring it back to the breath. Slowing down and deepening the breath. Maybe you add the ocean sounding breath, soft constriction in the back of the throat, sometimes called ujjayi. And as you breathe, take a moment to notice the center of your chest. Noticing how your breath affects this area of the body. Good, and then gently letting your body breathe itself and just sitting with how you feel. You can bring your hands into prayer position in front of your heart, just holding palms and fingers together. And keeping the base of your palm, the pinky, and your thumb together, let the rest of your fingers open up like a flower blossoming, right? So you're going to make this little flower shape right in front of your heart. And as you do that, bring your awareness back to your heart. See if you can notice the beat of your heart. If you can't notice it, just know that it's true, that it is happening. Maybe take a couple very relaxed, deep breaths as you notice your heart. Good, and then let your hands come back into prayer position. You can bow your head to your heart. Maybe the fingers touch the center of your forehead. And just send yourself a thank you for making time for you today, for rolling out your yoga mat, for your good intentions of taking care of yourself. Good, and you can release your hands. You can blink your eyes open. If you need to stretch your legs out, you can. But we're going to start just by gently rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. So just keep it really small to start and really gentle. Right? If you think about like when you wake up in the morning, how the muscles are stiff, and it's really just your functional movement of walking across the room that helps them get not so stiff. So we want this to be really simple, really small, but just by moving the muscles, we're warming them up. So I started doing it without thinking. My shoulders are doing a much bigger circle now. So let your shoulders do what they need to do. Good. And then maybe letting the hands get involved or the arms get involved. So imagine you were rowing a boat. Right? So the shoulder blades get a little bit more involved. As you pull the arms back, they'll squeeze together. As you reach the arms forward, they'll spread apart. Still really small, really gentle. And as that starts to warm up, you can get that, let the oars get bigger. That always makes me laugh. The oars are going to get longer and longer. So this rotation gets a little bit bigger. My shoulder is pretty crunchy. So try to avoid the crunch. There you go. And release when you're ready. Sit up nice and tall. If you need to stretch the legs, you can. My legs are fine, so I'm going to stay here a little bit longer. But you can sit up nice and tall. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, just move your chin down towards your chest. And as you inhale, roll your head over to one side. So I want this motion to be nice and fluid. You exhale, the head comes back down. Inhale, head rolls over to one side. Exhale, down. So you're using the breath to guide the motion, but you want it to be really smooth. You know, our breath isn't jerky, right? We usually don't even really notice the stops and starts. It's more fluid. It's more like one blends into the other. So let that motion be just like that. Easy, fluid motion. So that you can notice the details of how your muscles feel. Good, and eventually let your head come down again, chin to chest. You can blink your eyes open, and now my legs are yelling at me because I was sitting still for too long. You can stretch your legs out in front. So just get them to be happier, whatever they need, right? Stretch the legs out, point and flex, whatever they're gonna need. And I actually thought we would start, well, we'll start standing, but I just want to do one quick thing before we stand. You can bend your knees so that the knees are bent up and the feet are on the floor. And then bring your fingers behind you or your hands behind you, fingers face away from you. I like tented fingers, but some people would do this flat and feel happy there. And just bend your elbows a little bit and start to draw your shoulder blades towards each other. And with just a gentle intention, move your heart up and forward, sort of like that place where the wall and the ceiling meet in the room that you're in. And breathe. And then make sure your neck is happy, right? I always kind of move my neck around or my head around and just make sure my neck isn't holding tension unnecessarily. Good. And then release your arms and just gently fold over the legs, giving your back a little bit of flexion. We're going to do those motions more in a bit. All right. And you can roll your way back up. And let's come to standing. All right. So we're going to start at the feet, but get yourself situated. I like to shift my weight a little bit, move the feet around, and then eventually you'll shift your weight more into your left foot. Make sure your knee isn't locked. Your right heel will lift, and just start to rotate your heel in a circle. So the ball of your foot stays firmly planted, the toes stay planted, and then go the other way. And then start to bring in that nice, slow, deep breath again. I couldn't get myself to change directions. I had a little weird moment there. So, do the best you can. Good, and then release your foot down and shift your weight a couple times from one to the other and just see how they feel. See if there's a difference. Oh, my ankle just cracked. That was good. Good, and then shift your weight to whichever foot you just rotated around. For me, it's, well, I can't remember if I'm mirroring or not. So whichever one you didn't do, you're gonna lift the heel and rotate your heel in a circle. Sometimes I mirror on video, sometimes I don't. Good. Let that slow, deep breath move back into your being. Go the other way. Good. And then shift your weight from one foot to the other. Just notice how they feel. Good. You can bring your feet a little closer. Maybe touching my knees come in, so I just go as far as my knees touch, but everybody's built and shaped differently. You're going to bend your knees, hands above your knees, and just slowly rotate the knees in a circle as you deepen the breath. So practicing that slow, deep breath, noticing all the details from your feet, your balance, the musculature in your legs. Go the other way. Good, and then come back up to standing, feet a little wider than hips are wide, hands to your hips, and start to rotate your hips in a slow motion, like pantomimed hula hoop action. Just be careful. I tend to lock my knees when my hips go back, so I have to consciously keep my knees bent as I do this. Good, and then go the other way. Beautiful. You can come back to stillness, feet a little closer. All right, we're gonna do the movements of the spine, but we're gonna do flexion first, or that rounded spine first, and then we'll move into both, right? So we'll do a little forward fold, sort of, kind of. All right, sorry, I should just language it instead of telling you what it's going to be because I'm confusing myself. We're going to stand up nice and tall on your mountain. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, start to tuck your chin, bend your knees, and slowly start to roll down. Your arms are going to be really heavy. I like to think that there's like weights in my fingers, gently drawing me down. The back rounds, my knees are bent, so everything curls. And then slowly inhale, start to roll back up. We're not going to come all the way up. You're just going to inhale and exhale back down. So kind of like when we did that neck rotation before, and I was talking about how the movement isn't jerky, it's really smooth. You go from one to the other. So you're just going to gently move with the breath, this really slow, easy motion. You don't even have to come all the way back up to standing because we're working on that flexion of the spine or that rounding of the spine, which I think we get plenty of throughout the day, right? If you sit in a chair or you tend to slouch. I know I do tend to slouch. But I find when I kind of roll through it, I get to see like what's tight, what needs to be stretched a little bit. If you want, next time you fold forward, you can keep your knees bent, but just hang in a forward fold for a moment. Let your head hang heavy. The deeper you bend the knees, the more you'll take the hamstrings out of the equation, and you'll also let your back stretch, your low back, your lumbar. Good. And on your next inhale, you're going to use it to bring yourself all the way back up to standing. So start to syncopate that movement. Did I use that word right? I'm not sure. Synchronize. Chin will be the last thing to lift. Come all the way up eventually. Good. All right. So we made it to standing. So now we're going to work on flexion. I have 2 battery packs for 2 microphones here, so I have to figure out where to put my hands. But you're going to find your mountain, stand up nice and tall, take a breath in, knees a little bit bent, right? And then you're going to exhale and press your hips forward as you open the heart just a little bit, and then come back. So it's not a huge motion. You're just gently, like a baby back bend, pushing your hips forward, opening the heart, and then coming back to standing. So we're just going to move in and out of that maybe 2 more times. All right, and you can hold it if you want, just gently pressing the hips forward, right? So that the back bend is really more through the hips. Or that's where I feel it more. Then we're going to come back up. Then we're going to keep this still, the belly and the hips and the low back. And then we're going to just open like from the lower ribs up. So let's start. This is actually more of we do this in OT. PTs do it too. You bring your arms bent at your sides, right? We call it no money because it's like you pulled your pockets out and you went, I've got no money. So no money. And you're going to take your arms and you're going to draw them, or your shoulder blades, arms out to the sides, and your shoulder blades draw together. I always imagine that you're holding a pencil in between your shoulder blades and just hold it for 5 seconds. And then come back. So we're actually not doing a back bend at all. We're just squeezing the shoulder blades together, but we want to keep this belly engagement. We'll do it again so that the back doesn't extend or, do a back bend. We're going to do it in a moment with a little more back bend. Good, we'll do it again and just hold for like 5 seconds or maybe a breath or 2. Good, and then release and bring your arms up like a goal post or the top part of a cactus. And find your mountain, feet sturdy, belly strong, heart open a little bit. And then start to do that same thing. Squeeze just the shoulder blades together, bring your arms back. See what it takes to kind of keep your back from doing that back bend. Make sure your neck and shoulders are not shoulders really, they have to be engaged a little bit, but neck. I always move my head around and make sure my neck is relaxed. Good, and then release. All right, we're gonna loop them all together. So let's, although we didn't really do cat and cow, did we? Let's do that first. Standing version is a little different. So you imagine you have that exercise ball in front of you. As you inhale, you open your arms, you press your hips and your heart forward. So now we get the whole thing to extend. And then exhale, somebody toss that exercise ball back to you. You're gonna bend your knees, drape your whole body around it, your arms, everything. And then inhale, extend your legs, press hips, belly, heart open, shoulders back, arms back, look up. And exhale, catch that imaginary exercise ball. And then inhale, let it go. So moving with your breath. Good. Next time your arms are forward, let that be the last one. And then gently release. Arms down, legs extend, you come up to standing. Good. And notice how you feel. All right, so that is our flexion and extension. I spent a lot of time doing that. And let's do a little bit of twist. So feet a little wider than hips are wide. We'll do standing swinging twist. Just start real slow, real gentle, just to see what's needed. The heel you face away from can lift up a little bit. You can always bend at the elbows as you twist so they kind of hit against your body. Good, and then gradually just coast your way to stillness. Bring your feet a little closer and just notice how you feel. All right. Let's do some half sun salutations. So if you like to do this with blocks, you can. If you don't know, maybe bring them over just in case. You could also use, I have a couch. You can also use your shins. You don't need props at all. But we're gonna set them up where you can reach them and then forget about them and then find your way into mountain. So feet hip distance, parallel, spread your toes out. And then find your balance, right? Make sure your knees aren't locked. Feel the tailbone pointing straight down towards the ground. Your heart reaches up and your head lifts up. Your palms can face forward. And just take a moment with these little adjustments that you just made to just feel your presence on your feet, on your yoga mat, in your space. Notice your shoulder blades in space. Notice your heart, the back of your neck. There's all these postural things that we tend to overlook throughout the day, and I love mountain because you get to just feel them all and see like, oh, okay, this is what balance feels like. Good, and you can bring your hands into prayer for a moment. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, turn your hands over, press your fingers towards the floor, release them apart, and then inhale, reach them out and up. As you exhale, hinge at your hips. You can bend your knees if you need to. Swan dive, fold over the legs. On an inhale, come to a flat back, maybe hands to shins or use your blocks. Flatten out your back. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, fold over the legs. Just a simple ragdoll. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift, hands to blocks or shins or floor. Exhale, fold. Let's do that 2 more times just because we're kind of warming up these muscles. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. So keep your knees bent. Shift your weight back into your heels so your legs are going to do all the work. Inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides. Come up to standing, hands overhead. Great. And then exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Notice how you feel. So take another breath in. And as you exhale, turn your hands over, empty the lungs. Inhale, lift the arms up as you press your hips forward. So a little bit of a back bend. And then find neutral, exhale, fold, swan dive. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Take your time, exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, shift your weight into your heels. Inhale, come back up to standing. Take your time. Exhale, hands to the heart. We're going to do it again. So take a breath in. Exhale, turn your hands over and empty. Inhale, arms float up. Get nice and tall. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Swan dive. Use your belly strength to protect your back. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. The legs do all the work. Reverse your swan dive on an inhalation. Exhale, hands to the heart. Good. And just take a moment and pause. Maybe your hands stay in prayer. Maybe you bring your hands over your heart. Good. And we'll do a version of that. We're going to add on to it a little bit. So if you need space, set yourself up towards the front of your yoga mat. All right. Still in mountain, hands in prayer. Take a breath. Exhale, turn the hands over, empty the lungs. Inhale, float the arms up, bring up the sun. Exhale, hinge at the hips, swan dive. So this time, bring hands to blocks, or you can just work with shins. Yep, or you can bend your knees deep enough so you're holding onto the floor, so either way. But you're just going to bend one leg as you straighten the opposite one, and then switch. I like to do this with my hands on blocks, so I'm not as folded. But you're just going to go back and forth. I used to call this hip hop. This works with hands lower or higher, either way. Because one hip hops up, and the other hip goes down, right? Hip hop. Good. Next time, let's see. I'm not going to mirror the video. Next time, the left knee is bent and the right leg is straight. Pause there. Position your left hand so it feels stable, right? And you can start to bring your right arm up into a twist. You can also just rest it on your hip as you twist your body. So left knee is bent, right leg is straight. Just a gentle twist. So we're kind of opening that space from the leg so the belly has more room. Good. And then you can release and switch sides. Right knee bends. Left leg is straight. The left arm can come up. And breathe. Good. And when you're ready, unwind. And a gentle forward fold. Bend your knees. Let your head hang heavy. On an inhale, when you're ready, come up to a flat back again. So lengthen legs, arms, and spine. Shoulders gently press down. You can look forward. Good. And then bend your knees. Line your fingers or blocks or both in line with your toes. And your left foot's going to step back into a lunge. So find a nice stretch on the back of your leg. Sometimes I like to rock a little bit first on the ball of my foot and then back. And then pause with your knee and your ankle in line with each other. Gently draw your shoulders back and feel your spine nice and long. And breathe. Nice stretch through the calf, strengthening through the thighs, through the glutes. Can you find ease through your neck and shoulders? Good. On an exhale, hop your back foot up and switch sides. The right foot steps back. You can rock forward and back a couple times on your right foot, just getting that ankle warmed up. And then pause with the heel pressing back, left knee right on top of the left ankle, shoulders roll back, spine nice and long, and breathe. So find that stretch in the calf or wherever you feel it. That's where I feel it because that's what's really tight on me. But you're going to feel it wherever you're more tight. But feel that work in the left leg, in the thigh, in the glutes. And breathe. Good. On an exhaling breath, hop the back foot, right foot up to meet the left. Standing forward fold. Good. And this time we're going to roll up. So bend your knees, keep your chin tucked. And on an inhale, slowly roll your way all the way back up. Chin is the last thing to lift. And when you get there, just notice how you feel. All right. We'll do a little bit more standing and then we'll come down. Just checking the time. Okay. Sorry, I was laughing at myself before because I have so many things on my head and face. 2 mics, glasses, cords, battery packs. It's a little ridiculous. Oh, we don't need blocks. All right, so come up to the top of your yoga mat. Find your mountain. Good, and from here, let's bring the arms up. So whichever way you want to get your arms up, take a breath, bring them up. Yogi's choice. And as you exhale, bend your knees, find your balance here. Then you're going to shift your weight. The left foot's going to step back into a high lunge or a warrior 1. So if you want that back heel to be down, that's fine. Go ahead, take another breath, and on an exhale, float your arms down. Just rest them on the thigh or wherever they want to go. Good. Remember that move we did earlier that I called it no money? You're going to have your arms bent at your sides, palms up, and gently draw your hands away from each other and let your shoulder blades draw together. So feel how it kind of makes you engage your belly a little bit so you don't arch the back. So just the shoulder blades are squeezing together, and breathe. So we're adding this little, this balance and this kind of PT move. Good, and then release. Shift your weight, step your feet back together. You can bring your hands into prayer. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring the hands back down. We're going to do that again. However your arms want to get up there, whatever you want. So inhale, reach your arms up. Pause. Exhale, bend your knees. The right foot steps back into a high lunge or a warrior 1. Relax your shoulders. Good. And when you're ready, bring your hands down. And just make sure that you're situated the way you want to be. Belly strong, heart open. We'll do that no money move again. Palms up. Gently draw your hands out to the sides as the shoulder blades squeeze together, and breathe. So it doesn't feel overly strengthening, but it is. Helping stability in the shoulders. Good, and then release, reach your arms up. This time we'll come out of it with the arms up. You can hinge forward, step your back foot up to meet the front one, and then bring the arms down. Good, and just take a moment, notice how you feel. All right, let's do it again, this time with a little bit more opening, less of that like strengthening PT move. So find your mountain. When you're ready, you can float your arms up. On an exhale, bend your knees. The left foot steps back into a lunge. You decide, heel up or down. Belly strong. Good. And then bend your elbows like the top part of a cactus and bring them back and feel your shoulder blades squeeze together. We're going to do this in a different way in a moment. But the ribs, my ribs are popping up, so try to keep that down a bit. Good, and then release your arms, just lengthen the right leg, take a little break. And then the other option, you could do what we were just doing, or interlace your hands behind your back, squeeze your shoulder blades together, lengthen your arms. So yoga mudra arms. If you need a yoga tie to do this, that's fine, or you can do this a different way. Good, so press knuckles away from shoulders, arms away from spine, Open the heart and breathe. If at any moment you need a break with the front leg, just lengthen it. So you stay in that as long as you'd like. So we're just adding some strength. Keep breathing. Opening the heart. Deepening the breath. When you're ready, let your arms just float forward. Rest them on the front leg. Hinge forward. Step forward. Let's take a forward fold. Maybe sigh it out on the exhale. Good. Bend your knees. Keep your chin tucked and start to roll your way back up. All right, let's do the other side. So finding mountain on both feet. On an inhale, you can bring your arms up. You can exhale, bend your knees. This time the right foot steps back, lunge. So your heel can go straight back and hover, or it can touch down at an angle. So find peace with this here. Good, and then bend your elbows, top part of a cactus. Belly strong, ribs kind of stay pointing down. And you bring your arms back. So shoulder blades squeeze together. Make sure your neck is not tense. Good, you can release your arms, lengthen your leg. If you want to do this a different way, you can do yoga mudra, interlacing hands behind your back. It's hard for me to do this and talk and to look at the computer screen, so I'm going to turn myself sideways. Shoulder blade squeeze, lengthen the arms, so knuckles press away from shoulders, arms away from spine. Open your heart. You can bend your knee and breathe. Take as many breaks as you need. Modify, vary this, do whatever you need in your practice. But open the heart. Good, and when you're ready, release your arms, let them rest on the front leg, hinge forward, step forward, forward fold. And any little variation you'd like here will be fine. And this is a good moment for down dog. I don't typically teach it. I've been a little bit anti-down dog in the last few years, but lately I've been doing it a little bit here and there. You need quite a bit of shoulder strength for this to be safe, I feel, in my humble opinion. So take a moment, maybe a forward fold, maybe down dog. I'm doing child because it feels good. But basically, just find something that would feel satisfying to your body. If that feels like a little more work, do down dog or plank or something. Shoot, you can even chaturanga if you want. Or a rest, right? Good. Whenever you're ready, you can come to, let's do a belly down. Can I do a belly down with all these things? I'm going to try. All right, let's do belly down. So find your way so you're lying down on your belly. When you get there, just turn your head to one side. And let your knees bend, let your feet go side to side. Good. If your head has been turned to one side, turn it to the other side. Practice deepening your breath. Good. And gently release your legs. Bring your chin to the yoga mat. And let's see, bring your arms, where do we want the arms? Bring the arms under your shoulders for now, just for stability. So hands under shoulders, elbows like baby cobra. Elbows are bent and drawing midline. Curl your toes under. So we want to work on stability. I'm big about like making sure you have enough strength before you know, we don't want to hurt anything. So we want to like work on stability and like being structurally sound in our yoga moves. So you can curl your toes under, press back through your heels a little bit, and imagine you were in mountain. So your pelvis, your tailbone kind of pushes forward, your belly is engaged a little bit, right? Heart extends away from the feet, crown and feet press in opposite directions. Shoulders gently press up towards the ceiling without lifting your head, right? So we just want all this stability. You can uncurl your toes, keep the stability. Lengthen through your crown, and as you inhale, just lift up a little bit. Just using the strength of your body to lift up a little bit, and then slowly lower back down, chin to the yoga mat. So nice and strong, lengthen through your spine, lift up, and then lower. So you don't have to go far. You want to make sure that you're not pushing into flexibility and sacrificing stability, right? So we want that stability through the body. If it feels safe to kind of hold, I like to lengthen back through the leg. We're going to turn this into a different, we're not going to do baby cobra. I'm stuck under my couch, hold on. You can extend your arms to your sides, keep that stability in your body, lengthen through the toes, through the crown, through the fingers, and then let everything lift, but it doesn't matter how high, you want to continue that stability. So shoulders lift. Fingers press away from the shoulders. Back of the neck is long. Keep breathing. You can do this as long as you like. When you're done, release. Turn your head to one side. Arms where you want them. You can bend your knees and let your feet go side to side. So we did a back bend earlier when we were standing that was a little more stretchy, right? So this version on the floor is definitely requires strength, right? We don't want to like we don't want to hurt anything. But it takes strength to like lift your body up against gravity in this position. If your head was turned to one side, turn it the other way. All right, so, you know, we're talking about heart openers, but also a little bit of like shoulder stability. So my favorite way to do that is forearm planks. So come up onto your forearms, elbows underneath shoulders, and avoid that super deep arch of the low back by gently hugging your belly muscles against your spine and kind of, it's not neutral, but it's like a little bit more like neutral. Good. I like to bend my knees here. It's up to you. And then slowly lift yourself up, knee down, forearm plank, and then slowly lower yourself down. So there's a lot of muscles engaged. If you're like, this is easy, Carrie, do it with your knees up. So curl your toes under, lift your knees, and do it that way. I did that this morning, so I don't want to overexert anything. I'm going to do knee down, but you can do knees up if you want. So notice the belly strength, but also notice the shoulder engagement that's needed just to lift and lower. If you want, you can lift up and hold. Make sure your neck is not tense. And when you're done, you can release. I think I already mentioned, I did a lot of these this morning, so my body's like, all right, we're done. So you can do a lot more if you want. But when you are done, bend your knees just like before. Feet go side to side. Good, and if it's in the cards for you, you can press back into child's pose. If it's not, go on your side into like a fetal position. So just something where the back is in flexion and you feel comfortable. Flexion meaning it's rounded. Sorry, I've been studying, so my brain is full of anatomy words that I try to keep out of our yoga practice. I mean, we know how to like flex our arms, but like flexing our spine is a little more nuanced. But yes, right now, like in child's pose, your body is in flexion. When we do our heart openers, the spine is in extension. All right, so when you're ready, find your way up to seated. We'll do a few seated things. All right, so we'll do, let's see. Actually, we haven't done a lot of hips. We did some strengthening, but let's just move the legs around a little bit. So you can bring your hands behind you, knees bent, feet wide, and let your knees go side to side. You can let your hip kind of follow so that you're not like fighting against any joint. It's just about mobility, finding out how the body wants you to move it. Good, and the next time the knees are over to the right, I'm not going to mirror you, you can just stay there. Good. Sit up nice and tall and just gently walk your hands to the right until you feel a stretch that feels comfortable, sustainable, reasonable to you. And take a few slow, deep breaths. Any little adjustments or modifications are welcome. As you sustain this stretch for another breath or two, see if there's anything that you can release. Like I noticed it felt really good to turn my head in the opposite direction, so my body's twisting to the right, but my head is moving to the left. Relaxing the glutes and hips might change something, so just see. Good, and then you can gently release. You can keep your legs where they are. I realized we didn't do a whole lot of like side body stretching today. So we'll do that from this position. So your left hand will go on your right knee, if that's what you've got, knees to the right, left hand, right knee. Your right arm can come up. And maybe this is enough, or maybe you just start to play with gently stretching over to the side. I like to use my left hand as just a tiny little press of leverage to lift my heart up and my shoulder back just a little bit, and breathe. And then you have all this room to play, right? Because this can be a really deep stretch, but it doesn't have to be, right? But you have room. You can gently move in and out of it. You can play with arm positions, right? There's a little tiny twist that happens, or not so tiny if that's where you feel it. Good, and eventually you can come out, hands behind you. Oh, yeah, and let your knees go side to side. Oh, I think I really needed that. Good, and then let your knees go to the left. We'll do all that stuff on the left side. So first align your spine, and then just gently walk your hands to the left. Find out how that feels. For me, the pelvis twists first, and I need a moment to just find out, like, all right, is that enough? Should I just hang here for a moment? And then the rest of the spine feels like it wants to get included, but that might just be my like cranky spine. So see what your spine is up to. Find something that feels sustainable and breathe into it. And your body will tell you, it'll tell you like, hey, this is tight. Should it be, or can we relax, right? Do you need movement? Or is the stillness in this twist sufficient? There's never really stillness, right? Because then you've got your breath. You've got the softening, the release. There's always movement. Maybe your body wants you to come out of it a little bit. Maybe you go in to the twist a little more. Just in the next breath or two, just explore what you need here. Good, and then gently release, but we're going to keep the knees where they are, because we're going to do that side body stretch, lateral bend. So right hand on the left knee, and the left arm can go up. So maybe this is plenty, or you just gently start to stretch over to the side and find out what is, what's happening on this side. Little leverage with the right hand, just the tiniest little press. Maybe your body is interested in movement, stillness, keep breathing. Maybe you need to change the shoulder position or the head and neck position. Good. Whenever you're done, you can release the arm, sweep your hands behind you, and let the knees go side to side. All right, I was going to do a seated twist, but let's do our twist from lying down. We'll make our way to the yoga mat, and we'll do a bridge on the way. If you want to do modified, have a block close by. All right, so when you find your way onto your back, you can bring your knees in. Hold the knees or wrap your arms around and gently rock side to side. Good, and we'll do our bridge first. So you can bring your feet to the floor. I like, I do a strengthening version of this. We'll do a little bit of that and then we'll transition. So I like to bring my elbows to my sides and gently press the backs of the arms in. So my fingertips point towards the ceiling. And as I do that, I can kind of squeeze my shoulder blades together a touch and then lay them back down. So you want the shoulders kind of drawn in and down. But for me, as soon as I do that, the ribs pop up a little bit. So now I have to engage my belly and push it down so the back is flat. So you want to visualize your heels underneath the knees. And as you push into your heels, engage your glutes. So the glutes are engaged, the belly is engaged. It's a little hard and weird, right? Because it's like two different sides of the body, front and back at the same time. So glutes engaged, belly engaged, heart is open, elbows kind of pressing down. And you can keep your arms bent or you can bring your palms down. And as you keep this engaged, push into your feet, slowly lift up. You don't even have to go that high, right? Just lift up a little bit and slowly lower down. Good. Relax and then do it again. Engage, flatten your back against the yoga mat. Engage your glutes, squeeze, gently lift. So a little strengthening here and lower down. Relax, and then we'll do it again. Engage the belly, engage the glutes, lift, and then lower. All right, so now we'll do it a little bit higher. So shoulder blades squeeze together, palms at your side, arms at your side, palms down. Push the belly against the yoga mat, engage your glutes, lift up, and keep lifting. Maybe you get a little stretch in the hip flexors this time. You can also walk your shoulder blades further together so you're on the sides of your arms. You can also interlace or clasp your hands. So press your hips up, lift your heart. You can also take your block. God, I'm giving you so many differences. You can put a block under your sacrum and let the block do the work, right? So whatever you want. Press your heart up, press your hips up, keep breathing. Relax your head, back of the neck. Good. So those of us who aren't using a block, the legs are probably getting a little tired. Right? So whenever you need, you release your arms and shoulders out to the sides and then slowly lower down. And just rest. Let your back rest. Resist the urge to pull your knees in just yet. Just let your back be neutral. Good. I like to let the knees go side to side a little bit. All right, and we'll do that twist I was talking about. So arms out, extended to your sides in T, or abducted. Sorry, I'm studying as I'm teaching, so you're going to abduct the arms. Sorry, arms in T. I can speak yoga too. So you're going to push your hips over to the right a little bit, right? Knees bent, feet flat on the floor. I like a block between my knees, either way. And you're either going to just let your knees drop to the left as you turn your head to the right, or you're going to bring your knees in a little closer to your arm and then over to the left. So knees go left, head goes right. I might have mixed up those directions, but that's what I want. Final answer, knees to the left, head to the right. Find a twist that feels good to you and breathe, right? It doesn't have to be really deep. You can unwind if you need to. Deepen your breath, relax. Can you let that nice, slow, deep breath move back into your being? Good. And when you're ready, you can start to unwind really gently. Bring the feet to the mat, square your hips. Just give your back a moment. And then we'll go the other way. So hips go to the left, knees can come in a little bit, and then over to the right. Oops. And your head can look left. So practice your slow, deep breath, maybe sighing it out a couple times on the exhale. This side might be different than the first side. I can tell that mine is. So, take your time. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as the other side. Taking the next breath or two to see if you can just soften a little more. And you can unwind when you're ready. You can square your hips. And it might feel good to bring the knees in and just rock side to side. So maybe you hold the knees or wrap your arms around the legs. But really from here, you can finish your practice however you need. So if something still feels tight or needs to be moved, it could look like yoga or not. A stretch, a strengthening. Just let your body show you how it wants you to move it. Your mind will try to get in the way and go, should I, shouldn't I? But try to just listen to your body. When you start to feel complete, you can begin to set yourself up for relaxation, our sort of final part of our yoga practice here. All right, so once you're comfortable, take your time. You can start your relaxation practice with some slow, deep breathing. Focusing first on that slow, deep belly breath. And then once you get so that feels pretty easy, keep inhaling past that point where you feel the belly expands and feel your ribs expand, your chest, like just keep inhaling longer than you normally would. And then as you exhale, feel that deflation from the top to the bottom, so chest, ribs, and belly. So, earlier I was talking about that fluidity of movement when we were doing the neck rolls and that flexion thing in the spine, that rolling. Let this deep, deep, deep breath be very similar. That even though you're sort of pushing the limits on, how you normally breathe, can you let it be very relaxed? Right, we want to change the muscle memory a little bit so that this feels a little more normal. This is the breath I practice before I go to sleep. And I try to remember to practice it throughout the day, like coming up with like a moment, like when this happens, do this, But for right now, just practice it, like get it into your cells, into your being. The slow, 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 deep breath. Stretching the lungs, stretching the ribs, stretching the diaphragm. And eventually let your body just breathe itself. And as you rest, notice how your physical body feels. As your physical body relaxes into the ground, let your mind relax into your body, right? And then let everything go. Just soften. Your body can breathe itself. No need to change the breath or alter it. Just let yourself be. If you feel ready to come back, you can start to deepen your breath again. You can start to move fingers and toes. And just gently adding movement back into the body. Stretching, yawning, whatever would feel good. If you're still lying down, you could bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a big hug. And then be very nice to your back as you make your way back up to seated eventually. So take your time. And when you do come up to seated, just taking a moment to notice how you feel, right? We started this way. So now you get to take inventory and find out like how this version of you feels. If it feels comfortable and safe to do so, you can bring hands into prayer, position in front of the heart. You can bow your head to your heart and just send yourself gratitude. Like just thank yourself for being able to physically do this practice today, for everything that your mind can do and everything your heart can let go of, but also take in. And maybe gratitude to this practice that has been passed from teacher to teacher for many, many, many years. Or anywhere else you can be grateful in your life, just send some gratitude. And when you're ready to lift your gaze, thank you, thank you, thank you so much.